The season finale has come on up just about as fast as the rest of the season has flown on by. It's time to gamble for a championship here in Sin City at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The RC Stock Car Association brings you round number 11 of the ButtKicker Cup Series in the event's Auto 200. I'm Noah Repple with Al Kozlowski beside me into the booth today. It is getting set to be a very good race today. Qualifying is just underway. Smaller field though than usual here, Al. Of course, a lot of the drivers have gone on over to Road to Pro. Others are assisting them as spotters, crew chiefs, what have you in those races. So we do have a bit of a smaller field tonight. Hopefully, though, we'll still get some excitement to see us through the night.
Yeah, no, it looks like we have a dozen plus one. That's 13 cars going to run tonight. This ought to be extremely exciting. I highly doubt we'll see many wrecks here unless it's a single car. Let's just see how this thing unfolds. This is a very temperate track here. It makes your car loose, makes your car tight, makes your car loose. You run too high, you catch a wall. You run too low, you catch a turn. This is going to be very interesting to see some styles we got here. We got 13 different driving styles, I'm certain.
The big points battle going into today is going to be for the points lead, and that is going to be between Jonathan Delaney and Clayton Hoffman. Boyd Hogan is currently in the points lead. He is among the drivers, though, that has departed to go run in the Road to Pro Series. So there's not 11 points separating Delaney and Hoffman at the moment, and we've run the math here, Al. And the way we see it, Clayton Hoffman, if he wants to take this championship, he will need to win today's race and lead the most amount of laps, and rely that Jonathan Delaney can finish 7th place or lower. That is one of the only ways that Hoffman can get the championship. So at this point, the odds are looking up in Delaney's favor.
Yeah, as we're doing qualifying right now, I'm seeing Wayne Grossi, my pick to win the race in that 7 car, is now on the pole. I don't know if that 29.397 is going to hold. During practice, we had the fastest car was going to be Clayton Hoffman. And Clayton Hoffman right now is at a 29.496, and in practice he ran a 29.160. Of course, I went in there and played with the guys, and I ran a 29.204 for second fastest. And those are draft speeds. Typically, 29.3, 8, 6, 5, like that is pretty good qualifying when you're by yourself. And look at that. Kenny Powell runs a 29.371, and Clayton Hoffman runs a 29.372. You can't get any closer than that.
Just 1,000th of a second separated them. I know it doesn't quite show that on the overlays, so it's probably rounded down to the closest 10,000th on the broadcast overlays, which tells me, Al, we're probably looking at a gap right there of about 10,000ths of a second if we get 2 different overlays saying 2 very different things.
Well, this is iRacing, and they might have, if I was to be a guessing man, and sometimes I do, and a betting man at Vegas, I would bet that iRacing thought to themselves, if we put Kenny Powell in the middle of this field, he's probably going to wreck something. So let's put him on the pole. But that doesn't last because Greg Wichinski rolls out a 29.362. Extremely rolling the dice there.
3 drivers have yet to set times. Those drivers are Paul Olson, Jeff Shutt, and Brandon Drumhiller. Olson and Shutt have both not taken to the track. Jonathan Lane, the big points contender. I say that? He's just put himself on pole position with a 23.323.
Now, that's going to be your top one right there. It's going to be very hard to beat all by yourself at 29.323. I believe Jonathan Delaney just took the pole.
Still waiting on Jeff Shutt and Paul Olson. Does not look like either driver, though, is going to elect to take that qualifying lap. And sometimes drivers elect to not qualify. They prefer to just start at the back and let everything sort itself out. This is going to be one of those only races, though, where you'll be able to look on over to the left side of your screen on that time check, and you'll still be able to see exactly where everybody is on the track throughout the entirety of this race from flag to flag.
Yeah, we're going to notice the only thing that's going to play into play here is going to be a pit strategy. We have got 134 laps. Now, you can typically do this in a 2-stopper, which means you stop at 45, you stop at 90, and then you roll to the end. We're going to maybe see some guys doing that. We may even see some guys trying to save some tires and just do a 1-stopper. That, to me, is not the smartest decision to make here, but we might see some folks doing it, and it may work out for them.
Just 10 seconds left in qualifying, so as qualifying draws to a close, we'll swing on over to the national anthem.
Drivers, start your engines!
And welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Advance Auto 200. We're just about ready to go racing for 134 laps with 13 drivers getting lined up on the grid. Let's take a rundown through the starting grid. We've got your points leader at the moment, Jonathan Delaney, on pole position. Greg Wichinski sitting in the second position. Kenny Powell and Clayton Hoffman rounded off in third and fourth. Hoffman's got a little bit of work to do if he wants to beat Delaney tonight. Wayne Grossi is in fifth with John Mullins in sixth. Wes Dobbs and Chris Johnson in row number 4. Craig Johnson and Jaden Profit round out the top 10. Randy Drumhiller, Jeff Shutt, and Paul Olson round out the 13-car field here, Al.
Yeah, this is going to be an extremely long race with some of these guys, but I think a lot of them are looking forward to this weekend. We have the ISCA Draftking Challenge coming up. Anybody that wants to run that with a C-Class license and above, they need to go on in and check out the ISCA Draftking Challenge. This is a pay-to-win. There's a $10 entry fee, and the winner of this race could win himself $100. Second place, $50. Third place, $25. Fourth place, $15, and fifth place is $10. Then, of course, like I said, the entry fee is $10. It is a NASCAR Cup Car Series race. It's 94 laps. You get 4 sets of tires, 1 fast repair. If you're interested, go to www.iracingstockcarassociation.com/DraftKing Challenge, and you'll be able to find all the information there. Look to see you on the track this Saturday.
This is, the DraftKings series is one that is taking place, I believe, on the first Saturday of every month. And will be alternated between Talladega and Daytona for those 2 rounds. Started it off at Talladega for a 94-lap event tomorrow. So we are hoping we can get a stacked grid for that race. We'll even say a max of 43 drivers in that one. Of course, it's the top 35 advance from a open qualifying session. Open qualifying will be very interesting now. And then, of course, you got a, I believe it was a 10-lap last chance qualifier where the top 8 advanced with that one. Everybody else, well, they're going home.
Yeah, it ought to be extremely excited. Everybody likes Daytona and everybody likes Talladega, so we expect to see a very high attendance rate here, so you might want to hurry up and get in while you can.
Looks like the pace car is just about to get set off here on the one and only pace lap before we get things underway. So, Al, as we set on off for a 1.5 mile pace lap before we get set for 200 miles of racing, your thoughts here before we go green?
Well, the first 5 laps of this race might tell all. I mean, if these guys are getting really squirrely and racy, then that means to tell me they've got a short run setup. Or a long run setup, sorry. If they're going to be real careful here, then they probably got a car that's going to last them a little bit longer than those guys that are going to start racing like crazy in the beginning. Position is everything. Clean air, like every track, clean air is key. We might see, what I'm expecting to see here with Jonathan Delaney, he's going to get a huge gap lead between him and Greg Wichinski. And if he can get that and keep it about a second, maybe a little bit over a second, he's going to walk away. I mean, he'll leave this field behind. So what's got to happen here is Greg Wichinski, Kenny Powell, and Clayton Hoffman, and Wayne Grossi, they all have to stay extremely close as they can to Jonathan Delaney and not let him get away.
Pace cars now leading the field through turns 3 and 4. Jonathan Delaney, your current points leader, getting set to take them around for the green flag. 200 miles about to get underway, 134 laps. It's been a long season, but it's been a good season. Let's hope we can end this one off on a high, too. The pace car pulls down pit road. Delaney gets on the loud pedal right about... I'll still wait for his hold the field a little bit here.
No, he's going. There they go, and they stuck with him. They stuck with Jonathan Delaney, and that's going to help him, Nolan. If they let him get away, they're going to be in trouble. And it looks like Jonathan Delaney is going to go to the high side. Any of these guys that run this low side, where you're seeing Kenny Powell in that 24 car on the inside there, they're using up their tires the most. And if they don't get to that high side very soon, they're going to not make it on the long run. That car will push extremely bad. And pushing here means when you're coming off the corner, you don't have the ability to really turn. The car is just kind of skirting across the pavement there, and it's going to meet the wall by accident.
Delaney leads the opening lap so far. We're about single file all the way throughout the field. The only side-by-side action we got is with John Mullins, who just got pushed up into by Wes Dobbs, who washed up the track a little bit in turn number 2. Up front, Kenny Powell's looking to move up the order, trying to make a move on Greg Wichinski for the third and final podium position. It is a 2-car breakaway out in front with your 2 points leaders and points rivals at the moment up in the lead.
Oh, yeah, Clayton Hoffman is not going to let him get that far ahead. Only thing I'm afraid of is if Clayton Hoffman doesn't preserve his tires, then he's going to end up in trouble. You know Jonathan Delaney's going to be preserving his tires. Let's hope that Clayton Hoffman does the same. That's the only way that battle in the front is going to be so tight and last. It looks like Clayton's going to try the inside, and he may get it coming off his turn. The inside is the preferred line here, Nolan. You're going to want to see everybody passing on the inside. Some of these drivers have a great enough setup that they can do an outside towards the wall pass, but I highly doubt we'll see that much here tonight.
So step 1 to complete for Clayton Hoffman. Step 1 was, of course, take the race lead. Step 2 now is to lead the most laps. Step 3, find a way to get Delaney all the way back in 7th. That's going to be a big ask, though, for Clayton Hoffman. But for now, he's got the race lead, so that's all he's got to focus on for now. Kenny Powell is clear for 3rd. Meanwhile, he's looking to run down the top 2 drivers here, and they should get involved with his, one of the first battles we've seen him up front fighting with for positions this high all season long.
Yeah, Kenny Powell wants to see the first and second place cars getting side by side and battling, because that gives him a choice on who he wants to choose, and whoever he chooses is going to win the battle for the lead and take Kenny to 2nd.
Already the field is starting to split up into their own little groupings. You got 1st through 3rd, a small gap back to 4th and 5th. You got about 6th on back to the 9th position running in their own little grouping. 11th, 12th, 13th are starting to get into some little single car trains here of their own.
Yeah, you know, speaking of Kenny Powell up there in the 3rd, he may be thinking to himself, I don't really have to race that much, because it looks like Wayne Grossi in the 4th position, my pick to win the race, is kind of laying back there and waiting to let these guys in front of him abuse their tires so much where he can just mosey on through.
And so as we enter lap number 7, the running order is currently looking to be Hoffman, Delaney, Powell, Grossi, Wichinski, Mullins, Johnson, Dobbs, Profit, Johnson, the other Johnson that is, Drumhiller, Olsen, and Schutt rounding out the field so far. So looks to be a clean single file line so far. Nobody side by side at the moment. This is the trend we can expect to see for this race course. These are guys that like to race extremely clean with one another, so I would not be surprised if we didn't see any aggressive moves being thrown until way later in the race.
Yeah, this whole field is only 4 seconds apart from the leader. From the leader to the end of this pack is 4 seconds right now. So if that gap can stay in place like that, it ought to be some pretty good racing. My concern is, when are these guys? Oh, and there was contact. Wichinski got a little bumper there.
I tell you what, that was not what I expected to be seeing on lap number 8 here of a 134-lap race in a 13-car field. John Mullins not wanting to wait around, it would seem, trying to make that look at Wichinski. Wichinski chopped the nose, though, and almost turned himself across Mullins' nose. Now John Mullins is going to try to push around the outside of Greg Wichinski on the back straightaway for the 9th time today. Looks like we got Chris Johnson that might be looking for a move here as well. A little bit more contact this time as they bang doors into 3.
Well, if you're on that inside line, the guy on the outside really has to hope that you can hold your line down there. As you've seen, Greg kind of drifted up a little bit. That's not intentional. The draft and the track will pull him up there. What I'm impressed with is seeing the gap between 1st and 2nd growing. Clayton Hoffman has walked away. Now, this could either be a good thing, Nolan, or a bad thing. Is Delaney sitting here thinking to himself, I'm going to let Clayton Hoffman use up his tires, and then I'm going to go up there and get him? That is going to be a theory that is good only if Hoffman does not get more than a second and maybe 1.1 seconds away. If he gets further than a second out, that means that there's Jonathan Delaney's he's having setup problems right now. He didn't drop the right setup on there. He's not on preservation.
I will have to wait and see how this develops for the run. It is still pretty early to be thinking about tire life and all the fancy pit stuff, considering it's about, I think 62 laps was the estimated fuel run these guys have got. Halfway is going to be about 130, halfway is going to be 67 laps, so theoretically, if you clutch and coast, do you reckon you could conserve the fuel all the way to halfway?
Oh, absolutely. I believe you could, and some of these guys might be doing it. Is it going to benefit them? I still sit strong on saying if you make this a one-stop race, it'll be the biggest mistake of your life. And it looks like Clayton Hoffman is pulling away from second place Jonathan Delaney about 0.2 of a second every lap here, because now he's up to 8, almost 9/10. He's almost a full second in front of him. I worry about that. I worry if Clayton Hoffman is getting himself super excited and he's getting set up by Jonathan Delaney.
Well, Delaney doesn't even need to push it right now. You've got to think about that as well. Delaney knows that if he finishes anywhere inside 6th place, then it doesn't matter where Clayton Hoffman finishes. Delaney still won that championship regardless. So Delaney knows he just needs to finish anywhere 6th place or higher, and he's got it in the bag. So he might just be playing this one nice and safe. He's not concerned with going for the win because he doesn't need one.
Yeah, that's factual. That very well could be. This is Vegas. We roll the dice. You never know what he's thinking right now. He's thinking if I can stay up here in 2nd place and stay away from the rest of that field, the odds of me wrecking out are pretty slim.
So you got a battle on for the 5th position. John Mullins is under fire by Greg Wichinski. Wichinski's going to complete this pass here to turn number 1. Mullins is going to stick it up to the high side. This could open up the door for Chris Johnson if he wants to find his way to the mix. It looks like the 48 car might be looking a little bit racy. Mullins trying to poke back over to the inside. Wichinski might try to cut back, but not quite close enough to go for the move.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see that 48 car hasn't moved up as far as he has. He's only came up a couple different a couple of positions here. That 48 was pretty racy there in practice, so I thought he had some good speed in behind him. Chris Johnson behind the wheel. We'll probably see him up in the top, probably a podium before the night.
Third on back to 12 are all under a blanket. The proverbial red box, as you can see on the time read screens, is surrounded by third all the way back to the 12th position. First and second have broken away from the field. You got about 1.4 seconds separating each of those gaps in their own right. Kenny Powell continues to hold the 3rd position, most impressively, considering we haven't seen that 24 car really up front a whole lot so far throughout the season.
Well, he is our league president, and maybe he wants to close this thing out with an interview. Well, as I said, I mentioned Chris Johnson as being pretty good during practice. He's getting fast here. He's really fast. I don't know if I cursed him, but it looks like he's pinching the 65 on the outside, and there was almost a caution right there.
What he tried to do was one lap ago in turn 1, he tried to have a run around John Mullins at the inside line. That didn't work out for him, meaning he got a terrible run off the corner because he bobbled. That allowed Dobbs to get around the outside, and Jada Profit took advantage of a big head of steam that he got and took the outside through 1 and 2. At the moment, Profit is still battling with Chris Johnson in that 48 machine. The 65 car is looking very strong around the outside line. That's one of the crucial things about mile and a halfs like this one. When you get further into a run like this, it is extremely hard to pass because the outside line, they can just carry a lot of momentum throughout these corners.
Now, if we watch the battle between the 65 and the 48 and just keep watching that, I'm going to tell you we're going to see some contact here unless, oh, yeah, he just figured it. Yeah, Chris Johnson backed it up and said, you know what, Jaden, you're scaring me. I'm going to let you have it, and I'll get it back here in a couple laps.
Up front, Wes Dobbs is due out of John Mullins, and even further up the road, Greg Wichinski is trying to defend against Wayne Gross. We've got a couple of little smaller battles starting to shape up all throughout kind of the midfield here, the higher midfield, still in the top half of the racing grid. Tell you what, this has been a pretty decent race, though, for 13 cars so far, even though we're only 20 laps in.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be one of those snoozers, but it looks like these guys are minding their business. As we get closer to the end of this thing, though, this is all going to change. You know, it's like Russian roulette at that point. These guys are going to throw caution to the wind and hope they don't roll crap.
Profit still trying to find a way underneath Wes Dobbs through turns 1 and 2, try to get the over-under on him. Was not terribly successful. So it looks like really the big battle going on right now is for 6th all the way back to the 8th position, because those 3 cars have been under a blanket since just about the start of this race, and they're continuing to swap positions every few laps.
But Nolan, we go back to the lead. Now we have Clayton Hoffman is 1.6 seconds in front of second place Jonathan Delaney, and it's pretty scheduled here. It looks like it's not moving anywhere. I don't know if Delaney is preserving, but he's got himself also a gap of about almost 2 seconds in front of third place Kenny Powell.
Indeed he is. So at the moment, Kenny Powell himself is under fire from Greg Wichinski for the final podium position. Powell, of course, one of those drivers that tends to be quick on the shorter runs, not so much on the longer runs. It looks like that's starting to catch up with him here, as Greg Wichinski is starting to really reel him in here. At the moment, they're about even on lap times, and that is likely because of the drive. The fact that Wichinski is just trying to sit in behind him here. Wayne Grossi is waiting in the wings as well in the 5th position, trying to see if maybe he can find some speed.
Yeah, we're about halfway till I'm going to guess they're going to pit. I bet they pit about 45, 46 laps.
These guys have, I believe, 4 sets of tires for the day, so that would mean that if they were to perfectly divvy them up, they would have to stop every 34 laps, give or take. So that it will be pretty interesting if you see them coming down this early in the run, because that would mean they would be coming down in about 10 laps here.
Well, you know, they come down, they're on lap 25 right now, so they should be able to come down probably about lap 45. It is fairly... The track is fairly cool. It's only 89 degrees, and the air temp is about 71. The biggest thing is the relative humidity is 38%. So these cars are not able to get up to speed as much as we would normally see them. Of course, they are getting, 180, 190 on the straightaways here, and about 150 in the corners. But they typically can get pretty close to almost 200 on these turns if they're on the straightaways, if they're bumper to bumper.
New closest battle on the track is now officially between Wichinski and Powell. Wichinski tried to have a look underneath Powell about a lap and a half ago in turn 1. He's trying to have another look here to turn 3. Powell stays up kind of at that middle groove of the racetrack. This allows Wichinski to get his nose in on the inside. So we're side by side here for the 3rd position. But remember what I said about how the outside can carry a lot of momentum in that 2nd groove. I think that's what Powell's trying to use right now. He's trying to stay as high up as he can to make sure he can get the biggest amount of speed. But he's going to back off and forfeit that 3rd position to Greg Wichinski in that number 2 car.
Well, I know Kenny Powell, and I know what this track does. What he's doing in that 2nd groove up is that's where the least amount of friction is to take the most amount of your tires away. He's trying to preserve those tires, and if he can stay in that 2nd groove up, his tires will last longer than anybody that tries to ride the low line.
Still looking very strong so far throughout this race. Let's take a quick moment to do another quick rundown of the field. If you're just joining us here today, welcome to the Advanced Auto 200. I'm Nolan with Elkin Slowski beside you in the commentary box for today's race with Rob Melnick behind the cameras. We got Clayton Hoffman currently leading the race. He's led almost every lap so far. Jonathan Delaney, the points leader at the moment, is sitting in 2nd with Greg Wichinski in 3rd. Kenny Powell rounds out the 4th position in a battle with Wichinski. Wayne Grossi is hanging back in 5th. John Mullins sits in 6th with Jaden Profit. In 7th, he's battling with he's battling with John Mullins for the 6th position at the moment. Chris Johnson is in 8th. Wes Dobbs in 9th. Brandon Drummerhill rounds out the top 10 with Paul Olson, Craig Johnson, and Jeff Shutt rounding out the 13-car grid here today.
Nolan, did I miss it, or did we not give thanks to our sponsor for tonight's race?
We had the time to. We came in a little bit late at qualifying.
Well, let's go ahead and give a shout-out. And what are we racing tonight? Who's our sponsor for tonight's race?
That would be Advanced Auto.
And we have a quick moment while everybody's running just patiently out here. Looks like they're on a Sunday drive. Let's take a quick break, and let's give a commercial break, and let's let everybody know about the ISCA Drafting Challenge.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at thebuttkicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
Get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. Order online or via our mobile app with advanced same day. Get same day pickup, same day curbside, or same day delivery. Advance your auto. Advance Auto Parts.
Well, welcome back to this 1,001 race around Las Vegas. I don't know if it's a super speedway or what this is. It's a very fun track to run. It's kind of complicated. Many of these guys on the racetrack right now have already brought home a W this week. As you know, we race all week long from Monday to Sunday at one track. I have won a race at Vegas this week, and I'm guaranteeing you almost everybody on the racetrack right now has got a W under their belt at Vegas this week.
I tell you what, Las Vegas can be one of those funner tracks to drive. I believe the term you're searching for, Al, by the way, is an intermediate track. That's kind of what these are typically known as, these good old mile-and-a-half cookie cutters that people tend to call them. Still, it is a very, very fun track indeed. It's one of those tracks where you don't tend to get a whole lot of cautions, but still fun racetrack nonetheless. It is providing us some decent racing so far. We are just now at 100 laps remaining. John Mullins is currently the driver on your screen in 7th place. We got a battle behind them with Wes Dobbs and Chris Johnson for 8th and 9th at the start of the pick on up. Dobbs tried to have a look underneath Johnson in the run to turn 1. Was not quite successful, though, and poking his nose there, which drives home the point here out about how once you guys get up to speed and everything like that, very, very hard to pass, especially around the inside.
Well, we watched the battle not too long ago between Kenny Paul and Greg Wichinski, and since that battle unfolded, Greg Wichinski has walked away with a 1.4 second gap between 3rd and 4th now, and he is slowly, very slowly, trying to close that gap between him and 2nd place Delaney. He's still got about three seconds to catch up to him, but the gap between the leader, Clayton Hoffman, and Jonathan Delaney, that's growing. Looks like Jonathan Delaney's at a 1.4 or 1.85, almost 2 second gap. And we should start seeing some pit stops in roughly about 7 to 8 laps from now. So let's keep our eyes open for that.
Mid-fuel run was about 62 laps, but the big question, of course, was, will the tires last that long? We've come to the decision that no, they most certainly will not. So we might see a couple drivers try to stretch it out to go for the one-stopper. I don't think that's the best idea, though. Remember, we saw Kenny Powell himself and a couple other drivers try to do that just last week, as a matter of fact. I believe at Kansas we were out last week, but it did not play out the way Kenny Powell wanted to, and in fact, he ended up further back than he would have been if he had just taken the two-stopper.
If this would have been a full stack 30 car field, I might roll the dice and go for a one stopper. If everybody stops at 45, I may try to roll it out as long as I can, hoping for a caution. Because as you get fresh tires with old tires, that always is a perfect remedy or recipe for disaster, and you get a caution. Then it would work. With a 13 car field, I would not try to roll my dice and go, halfway. It wouldn't work.
No, it wouldn't quite work. It's very difficult to go for one stopper here anyway, because you'd have to really, really conserve on fuel in order to be able to properly be able to stretch it out an extra 5 laps. It wouldn't work. It's not realistic at all to think that it would work. Dobbs is still really pressuring Chris Johnson.
Yeah, Dobbs is giving him hell. That 42 is right on the bumper, that 48. And he's just trying to find the right spot What he's doing is he's kind of intimidating Chris Johnson. Chris wants to hold that position in 8, you know, but he doesn't want to let Dobbs by, whether he believes Dobbs is going to hold him up or what. So I think Johnson is using up his tires and Dobbs kind of playing with it.
That's wait here and see, because Dobbs is so much better on the exit of these corners. He's going to have to go around the outside here potentially of Chris Johnson as we go through the trial. But once again, Johnson comes and clears himself up in front. Here comes Dobbs. Once again, looking for the inside line. This time does get that nose in there, but is forced back out of it because he just doesn't have the speed to keep his foot in it.
Now, Jaden Profit in that 65 machine, he's worked himself up there pretty good. And he's looking at the rear bumper of Wayne Grossi. Wayne Grossi is less than a half a second in front of him. He's literally almost 0.2 of a second. And then Kenny Powell is on his radar as well. So this is a race for 4th, 5th, and 6th coming up here. And let's see how this works. It looks like Wayne Grossi has got much more speed than Kenny Powell. I think maybe Kenny Powell has really abused his equipment, and he's starting to just trying to maintain it.
We saw him all the way up in 3rd earlier in the race. ISC's really been all season long on when he's on the proper pit strategy that everybody else is. Unfortunately, he eventually fell victim to Greg Wichinski's aggressive maneuvers and just was unable to hold him off for very long. Now he finds himself trying to fend off Wayne Grossi behind him, but Grossi, I think, is more worried about Jaden Profit at the moment.
Well, Kenny Powell is a seasoned driver, and he's got his pit strategies going up, and he very well, I could be wrong, and I would hope and pray that I am wrong. He might be one of those that might try to see if that halfway thing will work for him. He might be saving fuel.
Probably with a big head of steam. Look at Wayne Grossi, just lets him have it. I don't know what happened to Wayne Grossi that caused him really wanting to back out of that one, but that was interesting for sure to see Jaden Profit really take the advantage around the outside like that.
And as I say that, Kenny Powell's going up pit road. Kenny Powell, 45. Yeah, Wayne. That's what Wayne Grossi. That's why he let him by. You have to have that inside line. You cannot pit from the outside and cut down on it because you'll lose control of the car.
Also down are your 2 leaders, Clayton Hoffman and Jonathan Delaney. Both of those drivers are currently in pit road. Plus, we'll be getting a mass exodus of drivers down here momentarily. It's 4 cars on there right now, and we're hearing over the radio. Pretty much everybody's going to be coming down this time by. Greg Wichinski, I can see, is coming down. Profit is staying out at the moment, so he'll inherit the race lead. John Mullins, Wes Dobbs don't staying out. Chris Johnson's coming in the pit road. So is Randy Drumhiller and Craig Johnson. All the others staying out for now.
And here comes Clayton Hoffman exiting pit road right now. And this ought to be very interesting. I kind of figured this was going to be a 2-stopper deal. So they'll pit now at lap 45. They'll pit again at lap 90. And then they'll take that one all the way to the end of the race.
And Profit coming in this time by. Clayton Hoffman retakes the lead. Profit nearly lost the back end on entry as he got a little bit sideways on the transitioning there. Wes Dobbs also comes down. Jeff Shutt is also coming down to the lane. And I believe that just leaves John Mullins and Paul Olson, who are both still out and running on the track.
Yeah, you'll think to yourself watching it, you'll say, man, that's a smart move for Paul Olson and John Mullins for staying out. But as you'll notice at times, we have got John Mullins is probably going to come in this time by... No, he's not. He's running lap times of almost 32 seconds. Now, when the leaders come around that just pitted, you'll see their lap times are about 2 seconds faster. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that in about 12 laps, the individuals who just pitted are going to be flying past this leader like he's standing still.
They might be trying to go for the one-stopper here. I'm just kind of looking at it. It wouldn't make sense for them to stay out as long as they have without pitting, and they're continuing to stay out. So I really do think that these 2 guys are trying to go for the one-stopper here. They're going to be trying to stretch these runs out to halfway, so they have to make just one less pit stop and run that one out to the end at about lap 67.
Well, that only way that can work, okay? Clayton Hoffman has came out, and he is only 26 seconds behind 3rd place, so he's not a lap down. Jonathan Delaney is not a lap down. So they don't have to get a lap back. All they have to do is pass John Mullins and Paul Olsen. And they're only 18 seconds back. And like I just told you, they're about 2 seconds faster. So literally that's 9 laps. And they're going to be back up there. And those John Mullins and Paul Olsen on them older tires, they're going to start falling back and further and further. So that one stop is not going to work for them, I'm afraid. Now, I could be wrong, but this is Vegas. Let's roll the dice.
So now the running order is John Mullins is in the race lead. We still don't know if he's going to come down to pit soon or not. Paul Olsen is running in second, and Olsen is really running the bottom big time right now, even down the straightaways, trying to let lead lap cars that are a lap down but on fresh tires behind him through. Looks like the first battle we got on track is between Greg Wichinski and Wayne Grossi for the 5th position. They are right now running really close, only about a tenth or two apart from each other.
Now you have Jonathan Delaney and Clayton Hoffman. They're about 3 seconds apart. No, they're a little less than that. They're about a second apart. So maybe Jonathan had made some changes in there. I mean, maybe he added some more tape. Maybe he had too much tape. That very well could have been the problem. You know, some of these guys will tape up their front grille at about 50%. And that might cause some problems where the car starts to overheat and they've got to start lifting and clutching to try to cool that thing back down before they blow it up. That might have been the situation. Jonathan Delaney might have seen or thought to himself, I'm going to lead the most laps here, so I'm going to dump about 50 to 52% tape on the front of this thing. And it just, once Clayton Hoffman got by him, it just started overheating, and that's probably why he was preserving it.
Paul Olsen is in pit road this time by. So Paul Olsen was not able to stay out there for very long. He has sacrificed his one-stop strategy to come down to pit road. We'll have to see if John Mullins is going to do the same. He's starting to clutch and coast. John Mullins also to pit road this time by. So both of them have been thoroughly shot in the foot by their decisions to stay out long.
The only way, see, that might be smart for them, because remember, they are on 8 laps pressure tires. Okay, so now if you do the math here, they went to lap 52. So they've got to pit again, and let's say they pit again in 52 laps. Okay, so that puts them about 28 laps left in the race. And they're going to be faster than everybody in front of them. So it takes only 8 laps to make up roughly about 15, 16 seconds. So that might work for them. Let's see how this unfolds.
Well, the problem is that 8 laps, when you're running down guys with 52-lap-old tires, you make a lot more ground there than you can on a guy that's only 8-lap tires older than you are. So I still think it was a bad move for them to wait as long as they did.
Well, let's see what the fall-off is. Typically, the fall-off of 1 through 5 laps on your tires, it's not too much. It's maybe a tenth of a second here, tenth of a second there. And then as you start getting more and more wear and tear on those tires, you drop down even further. Remember, they had 50 laps on their tires, and they were 2 seconds slower. Every lap, you wear on those tires. So 8 laps could very well be, a fourth of a second. That might help them.
Well, we'll compare the lap times as they come across the line here. I'm looking up to Clayton Hoffman as his last lap was a 30.488. That was the last time by at the line. That was on his 11th lap on these tires. So we're going to wait and see when John Mullins comes around. This is his first lap on fresh tires. Across the line, it's going to be a 30.490. So it's marginal.
Yeah, it's not much at all. Yeah, Paul Olsen went down a lap, so now what he has to do is he has to work his way up there and past Clayton Hoffman, who is the leader with a 2-second gap. Between first and second, this is how much these pit stops can push you and stretch this field out. First and second is only 2 seconds apart. Third place is 14 seconds behind second. So the battle right now is between Greg Wichinski and Wayne Grossi.
At the moment, Jeff Shutt is, he's not looking terribly pretty either, because he's only got a few seconds behind Paul Olsen at the moment, who's trying to, keep up there as is. Clayton Hoffman, meanwhile, is about 31 seconds behind both these drivers. So Clayton Hoffman at this point, he's looking to get said to put these two drivers 2 laps down, as a matter of fact, as well as a result of this.
Yep, I'm starting to think, Nolan, that strategy for Paul Olson and John Mullins was not the biggest thing to do at Vegas. But who knows? I mean, it could be a caution. I mean, stranger things have happened.
15 seconds separate first through third at the moment. Just 2.4 back to second place, then another 12 back to Greg Wichinski. At the moment, Kenny Powell is in a battle with Jaden Profit for the 5th position. Powell just completed the pass around the outside. Profit's trying to find the inside line.
Well, we sit here and battle with ourselves, knowing to try to stay awake and watch this highway travel here. Let's go ahead and take a stop for a commercial.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at thebuttkicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
And welcome back to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're approaching that halfway point, about 5 laps away from it at the moment. Lap 67 marks halfway. We're running 62 at the moment. We've still been green for the entirety of this past run. And we've had 1 pit stop cycle so far as well. Paul Olson went down a lap as a result of a bad pit call. Now, it wasn't the best idea for him to come down when he did. John Mullins and Randy Drumhiller also just swapped for positions. Kenny Powell is still being hounded by the 65 of Jaden Profit.
Yeah, I don't think Paul Olson really had to worry too much. He's got nothing really to lose here. He's just out here so he doesn't get fined.
Craig Johnson is continuing to lose spots. He's now back to the 10th position. He's about to be under fire here from Randy Drumhiller in his number 44. John Mullins just breezed by him to take the 9th position. In fact, Mullins made up 2 spots in the 1 lap, so he must have really turned up the wick there. So why don't we run through the points situation again real quick for you. At the moment, we said at the top of the broadcast that Boyd Hogan, he is at the moment kind of not in the race. He's in the points lead, yes, but not really, because he's running Road to Pro at the moment and is not able to be here. So he's essentially forfeited his points lead, leaving it down for a battle between Jonathan Delaney and Clayton Hoffman, with 11 points separating those 2 drivers. At the moment, caution flag is out! Kenny Powell is wrecked front straightaway. First caution of the race. We didn't think we'd even get a caution here, Al.
Well, let's take a look and see what happened with that.
Oh, he got turned by the guy he was battling with, Jaden Profit. It looks like Powell tried to clear himself and just turned himself across Profit's nose. Profit was looking for the outside
get that hell of a run on the outside. He just gets that, and it looks like Kenny doesn't realize it's there, and he just turns him.
Wow. We did not expect to ever see a caution in this race with 13 cars. I was just about to go over the point situation again, so, oh boy. Well, Powell might not be talking about that when he was as far up as 3rd earlier this race, one of the best performances he's been having all season. Well, not anymore.
Yeah, Kenny Powell has that monkey on his back. He's got to shake that thing.
We just took a ride on board with Jaden Profit as well, and I mean, it looks like he just got there, but at the same time, he wasn't really there. Meanwhile, under this caution, just when everybody's coming down pit road, not surprisingly either, I believe...
Driver's battling some real estate that only half a car could fit in.
Jeff Shutt has taken the lucky dog free pass. He's back on the lead lap, leaving Paul Olsen, the sole driver, one lap down. We take another look at this one, and I don't know how to say that one. On one hand, Powell did try to clear himself across Profit's nose. On the other hand, was Profit really there? Wayne Grossi has had a terrible pit stop. He had to actually back fully out of his pit stall and go back in because he miscalculated that poorly on the pit entry. And meanwhile, it looks like Jonathan Delaney has just taken the lead away from Clayton Hoffman in a photo finish out of pit road.
Yeah, let's see if he can hold it.
Hoffman was aggressive at this point. Clayton Hoffman's almost led the most amount of laps, but he still needs Delaney to finish 7th or lower. Paul Olsen is going to come in this time by, unsurprisingly. Well, on the caution for the first time today in the Advance Auto 200. Well, let's take another quick break here. And, we'll be right back before we go green.
Get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. Order online or via our mobile app with Advanced Same Day. Get same-day pickup, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. Advance your auto. Advance Auto Parts.
Still under caution here for the Advance Auto 200 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the 2021 Season 1 Irish Stock Car Association ButtKicker Cup Series season finale. Try saying that 5 times twice. I'm Miller Rempel with Al Kozlowski beside me in the commentary booth. Under caution for the first time today. If you're just joining us, it happened when Kenny Powell tried to clear himself across Jaden Profit's nose out the exit of turn 4. Powell got the worst of it, was slung hard into the outside wall. That puts us under caution for the first time today and leaves us with just 12 drivers running now on the racing surface.
But now that we got just a dozen left, let's go ahead and mention to everybody about the ISCA Draftking Challenge that's going on March 6th. That is this Saturday, and we're going to be racing at Talladega. Practice starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, qualifying at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the last chance qualifying at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time, and the race will start at 9:30. This is a $10 entry race with a chance to win $100 for the winner. Second place is $50, third place is $25, fourth place is $15. So you have a great possibility of almost getting 10 times your money, because we all know what happens at Talladega. You could be running in the back of that field and win that thing, so you don't want to miss it. You can find the information about how to join this race and a little bit more about it by going to www.iracingstockcarassociation.com/Draftking Challenge info.
Once saw an AI in one of those Talladega races on an older game, and even on iRacing, go from 21st to 1st in one lap around the outside. Looks like we're about to come through turns 3 and 4 to bring us back to the green flag. Jonathan Delaney once again is in the lead. At this point, Delaney only needs to finish 6th or higher, and he's got the championship sorted. Clayton Hoffman, again, he needs to win the race, lead the most laps, which he's almost gotten. Led the most laps, just needs to retake the race lead. He also needs Delaney to finish 7th or lower in order for him to take the points title here today. So, we'll have to see how this restart plays out. We're going to go green for the second time today. The race car pulls it down to pit road. Once again, Delaney holds the field. The green flag drops. We're back racing in Sin City. Jonathan Delaney clears up in the run down to turn number 1. Single file all the way throughout the field, all the way back to where Kenny Powell is. Powell, of course, with damage, about to do battle with Randy Drumhiller. Up front, Wayne Grossi is starting to do battle with Wes Dobbs for the 5th position, final spot within that top 5. Grossi takes that final position inside the top 5. Powell still trying to fight it out with Randy Drumhiller for the 9th position on the racing surface. How was the driver collected in that first caution? And we'll have to see how he handles this one, as he's going to pick up that spot around Drumhiller, who's taken it nice and easy so far in this race start. Hoffman is starting to hound Jonathan Delaney, but for 3rd, Chris Johnson is going to go the inside of Greg Wichinski. Johnson continues to do battle for that 3rd position. He's going to clear. Now it's Grossi versus Wichinski for 4th. Delaney up front is still doing a good job fending off Clayton Hoffman, but maybe not for long. Hoffman's looking feisty in the battle for the race lead. Hoffman's going to try to go for the inside now. Delaney comes him off through turns 3 and 4 in the number 13 machine. Hoffman is going to continue to try to pick the cars off here. He's going to go around the outside now, down the front straightaway, but it's not going to be enough. He does not have the speed he needs to be able to successfully make this one work.
Yeah, I do believe what Jonathan had lacked in the first half of this race, he found it in the second half.
Indeed,
But
he
then
has.
first and second better not blink, because it looks like Chris Johnson in that 48 machine, he's found something as well, and he's coming to show him what it is.
Now Hoffman's going to go for the race lead around Jonathan Delaney. He's going to try to pick him up around the inside on lap 74. Clayton Hoffman is going to go back to the point in turns 3 and 4. He's going to clear for the race lead off of turn number 4. Delaney trying to get the momentum around the outside, but so far he's not quick enough. He could have a run here into turn number 1. Delaney's going to go for the outside line here. Hoffman's going to stick to the bottom this time around. Jonathan Delaney, though, can't make anything around the outside groove for the time being. Oh, I say that. Here he comes with the run.
Yeah, he's got tremendous backstretch speed there. Tremendous. Yeah, that could work out for him, because what he's doing right now is he's forcing Clayton Hoffman to abuse those tires by staying low. If he can keep side-by-side racing with him, we're going to see a swap. It's going to be Delaney's going to gap 1 point some seconds, and Hoffman's going to be second. If he keeps him in the inside like that, Delaney just has to keep Hoffman on the inside and making him abuse his tires.
Delaney is really fighting it out for the race lead here with Clayton Hoffman. We didn't see them fighting this hard in the first part of the race when Hoffman took the race lead early on. At this point, I don't think Delaney wants Hoffman to get out front, because Hoffman's proven that he can take that lead and hold it by some margin. Still side by side for a full 2 laps now. The number 13 Fly Arrows machine is continuing to pull around the outside line, and holy cow, really comes close to Hoffman there, and I think finally Delaney clears. Hoffman got a bit loose on the inside. That really helped him.
Yeah, it just takes 3 or 4 laps to really tear up some tires if you're on that inside line. And what we're going to see now is see if he really destroyed those tires, and let's see how fast Chris Johnson gets Clayton Hoffman.
It looks like for now, Delaney will hold the race lead. He's now started to pull a small gap over Clayton Hoffman, one that he can at least be a little more relaxed about, doesn't have to worry so much about it. The real battles are taking place further back in the field at the moment. Jaden Profit is in the battle right now with Jeff Shutt for the final spot inside the top 10. They're battling for 10th position at the moment, with Paul Olsen waiting in the wings, still a lap down.
Well, Kenny Powell in that 24 machine, he's got Randy Drumhiller in that 44 to the inside. He's going to let him by, because he's a wounded pilot right now of that race car. He's got a lot of damage to that machine.
He hasn't been doing battle with the Drumhiller ever since the drop of the green flag on the restart. I noticed them kind of fighting it out earlier, right in the opening laps of the second restart. Looks like Powell he still has a decent amount of pace of the car. He just needs the caution so he can come on down and get the damage fixed proper.
Well, that's one flaw in iRacing. You can sit on pit road and you can do 1 second, 2 seconds, 28 seconds, a minute worth of damage fixing, and it really doesn't fix the damage. You still have the damage. It's just like a penalty they give you. So that's the flaw with iRacing. If it actually did fix the damage, then you would have, it would be worth your time spending there. But I don't know why you actually have to sit on pit road to fix quote-unquote damage, because it doesn't fix it.
Well, it does. You just got to really wait it out. That's the thing, is that you do have to you really need to wait. You have to have patience to sit there the entire time, because you're right. If you leave before your crew's finished working on it, it's probably not going to be much better.
Most of the time you get that damage, Nolan, the only thing you do is wait for the next race. That's waiting it out for me. I mean, that damage does not ever get you fixed. Aerodynamic is really screwy. I mean, there's not 100-mile-an-hour tape or anything you could put on this thing to make it better. Once you have damage at some of these tracks like this that are dependent on aero, you really are screwed.
Grossi and Wichinski are close to the battles for 4th and 5th at the time being. They've got Chris Johnson just up the road. Wichinski is steadily closing here on Wayne Grossi, and in fact was almost a 10th quicker on the last lap.
Yeah, I'm seeing Greg Wichinski there riding in the 5th position, and I like what he's doing. He's kind of patiently waiting to see what Wayne Grossi is going to do here. Wayne's going to high line, and he's hugging that yellow line. But it looks like Greg is trying to pick the spot where he's just going to go to the inside and pass him.
Wichinski's got to be careful here, because Grossi is not going to be a driver that's going to be easy to get past. And Grossi right now is making this car as wide as possible, making sure that Wichinski does not have a gap where he can properly get the nose in there, and not without making some serious contact at least first.
Well, I think Greg had backed it off a little bit to regroup here to figure out a game plan to get around him. He's probably going to try to cool his tires off and see if the high line is going to be the line he wants to take. He's got to really study Wayne Grossi and see, is he pushing? If he goes low, does he push up the track? Because you don't want to try to pass him on the high line if the driver in front of you is pushing up. So let's watch Wayne Grossi. See how he drifts up. He's not doing that on purpose. The car is not holding the bottom line. So Greg Wichinski knows he's probably going to have to pass him on the low line. So he'll have to do a crossover. He'll have to go high, make it look like he's going high. And when Wayne Grossi slides up the track, he's going to have to cut down and go low.
Problem's going to be getting to him, though, because for the last couple of laps, Grossi has been consistently 1/10 or more faster than Greg Wichinski. So at the moment, Wichinski is losing time, so that 2 car has got to find some more speed first in order to work its way back up to the 7.
I know Greg Wichinski. What he's doing right now is he's just being patient. He's letting Wayne Grossi drive out of his rear view mirror, and Wayne Grossi is obviously trying to get a hold of Chris Johnson, because he's probably thinking to himself, Greg Wichinski is a little bit faster than me. I don't want him in front of me. So if I can get a pit car between me, a.k.a. Chris Johnson, then I will stand a better chance of getting away from Greg Wichinski. The problem is Chris Johnson is not going to let Wayne Grossi by that easy.
Not to mention, these guys have got Chris Johnson in his dirty yard to contend with as well, and it looks like that's really backing up Grossi as Wichinski gets a massive head of steam through turn 4 last time by onto the front straightaway, crossed over into lap number 88 of 134, and looks like Wichinski is just about ready to make the pounce.
Well, Nolan, the big elephant in the room right now is who can make it right now to the end. Right now, these guys are battling for position, and when they're doing that, they're really using up their fuel. So definitely don't think top 5 cars can make it to the end. I think you're probably going to see Kenny Powell with that damaged vehicle. He may be back there 11 seconds. If he can hold that 11-second gap, that might get him a podium position if he just starts saving fuel. The same, Paul Olsen's a lap down. He don't stand a chance of doing this unless we have another caution. But some of these guys in the back, John Mullins, Kenny Powell, Randy Drumhiller, if they can just stay 9, 10, 11 seconds behind the leader and save fuel, they stand a chance. I think they have to save at least a lap or 2 at minimum in order to make it to the end.
They were able to do quite a bit of fuel saving under that caution as well, which came out just at the halfway point, too.
Yeah, but I believe our fuel window is about 62, 63 laps here. And they had roughly 65 laps when we restarted. I think we're going to see a lot of people coming down for just a gas and go. I mean, they're going to put a gallon in that thing and roll on. The smart person right now would be the one that comes down and puts a gallon in their tank right now. Hell, I would even come down and not even put tires on it. If I was to do it, I'd do it right now.
Now, looks like a lot of drivers are going to be elected to stay out, at least for the time being. We'll have to see if they come on down later on in the runs, or if we get a couple guys that decide to see if they really can stretch this one out to the end. We saw some people do that last week at Homestead Miami Speedway. Same length, track type, so to speak. It is possible, but it is very difficult, and you're only really going to lose time by doing so.
Well, I don't think anybody can make it to the end here, so I would dare say by lap 120, we're going to see the majority of this field come down and put some fuel in there, and they're probably going to come down and put tires on that thing. Anybody that does a fuel-only stop is going to be back on that track with 60-plus lap tires, and they're going to be 2 seconds slower than anybody that puts fresh tires on there. So they're going to need roughly about 20 laps in order for them fresh tires to really benefit them.
Well, while we're waiting.
Wayne got really squirrely. Did you see that? That 7 car that gave Greg Wichinski the opportunity to get around him.
Yeah, that was through the middle of 1 and 2 that happened, I believe.
So now what Wayne Grossi is going to do is he's going to try to ride the end. And if Greg Wichinski is a smart man, he's going to keep him down there just to make him abuse his tires even more and hope that he doesn't ride up and take him out.
And looks like Wichinski will hold this position here as Wayne Grossi just doesn't have the momentum around the inside. You can carry a lot more speed around the outside line, especially on corner exit.
Well, Chris Johnson liked to see those guys back there battling side by side like that because that gave him a little breathing room. But now that Greg Wichinski has cleared him, he's only about a little over half a second away from the rear bumper of Chris Johnson. Let's watch and see how that closes up.
I'll tell you what, while we're waiting to see how this battle will shape on up, why don't we take a ride on board with Wayne Grossi, and we'll take a step away, and we'll come back with you for the final 30 or so laps of this race. You're watching the Advanced Auto 200. Let's go in car with Wayne Grossi. Clayton Hoffman hits pit road, and he's taking tires and fuel, it would seem here. That seems to be a wise call on our move. Jonathan Delaney is in pit road just now. Wichinski's also coming in this time by, so Chris Johnson inherits the race lead.
Yeah, this is going to be a huge benefit for Clayton Hoffman being the first one to do this. He's going to probably put, I would guess, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 seconds between him and whoever ends up behind him, because he's going to be on fresher tires, and he's going to get the draft from all these guys that are staying out right now. I don't think we'll see anybody try to make it to the end. I could be wrong. If I was to guess, it would be Kenny Powell and maybe Jeff Shutt, maybe?
Chris Johnson and Wes Dobbs are both in pit road this time by. So is Jeff Shutt, so count that one out the window for Jeff Shutt going to the end. Kenny Powell's also in pit road, so it looks like, no, we're not going to get anybody trying to stretch this one out to the very end. One more stop is the way to go.
Well, we do have Randy Drumhiller, Jaden Profit, John Mullins, and Craig Johnson have yet to start.
No, heads up. Hoffman's reeling in Delaney here. Delaney just came out of pit road. They're on the front straightaway now, and Hoffman's got a massive head of steam on him. This could be an interesting battle. This is for the net race lead at the moment. Hoffman's going to go high. Delaney trying to fend him off on the bottom side. They're both on fresh rubber. Delaney came out just 1 lap after Clayton Hoffman did.
Yes, and it looks like Delaney is squirrely. So this ought to be really interesting. Let's keep an eye on these two right.
That's the cold tires. It's going to make your car slippery. Delaney's still bobbling through turns 3 and 4, and it looks like Delaney's actually taking the race lead away from Clayton Hoffman.
Well, they're not the race leader. He just got that position. Because you still Craig Johnson, Randy Drumhiller, and it's still the leaders right now because they stayed out. Now, is that going to benefit them? I highly doubt it. I bet that they're going to be gapped here. I think we got one pitting right now.
That would be Randy Drumhiller, who I believe just called out that he was coming in this time by, and Hoffman's dropping back from Delaney.
Yeah, I think Hoffman's thinking to himself, listen, we've got roughly about 35 laps or 30 laps left here. I'm not going to destroy my tires. Let's let Jonathan, who's going to try everything he can to get up there. As boy, Jonathan came so close to that wall, you couldn't stuck a Lay's potato chip between him and that wall. I thought he caught it there, but you might have. Who knows? Hoffman might have thought we got 30 laps left. Let me dump some tape on this thing, and he's probably regretting it. I don't know why he's dropping back, really.
So I know the answer. He's clutch and coasting. It's very slight, but he is doing it. He's pumping the clutch. Just the slightest bit of entries to turns 1 and turn 3. Let's ride on board with Hoffman here, and let's be quiet here. Let's have a listen here in turn 3. And of course, that's the one time he doesn't do it. What do you know?
He was doing it in 1 and 2, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I thought I heard
3 and 4 last time by too.
Yeah,
Right
you
there.
see that right? What he's doing, Nolan, is he's just giving it enough of a clutch to bank the front end of that car into the turn so it would turn better.
The problem is it's costing him valuable time because he loses a couple miles an hour of speed that Delaney isn't losing. So Delaney is just running away with it at the moment. He's already got a second hold on him. Meanwhile, Craig Johnson is still running out in front with 27 laps to go. He's got 40 laps on his run here. So this could be interesting here for Craig Johnson here, who's your current race leader, 20 seconds ahead of Jonathan Delaney and Clayton Hoffman.
Let's watch to see what happens with Clayton. I mean, it very well could work for him because I know, in my opinion, what I'm thinking is going on up here is Jonathan Delaney is trying to get enough room between him and Clayton Hoffman. He's trying to get that second window, that 1 second gap between them. And if he can get that, he pretty much has the race secure. Unless we have another caution.
Well, don't forget, even if he wins the race, still needs Jonathan Delaney to finish 7th or lower. At this point, Hoffman will get those bonus points for leading the most laps in the race. He has certainly surpassed that. But Jonathan Delaney is in first place right now. He needs to be he's in second place, excuse me. He needs to be at least 6 points back, and Hoffman needs to be up 2 before Hoffman wins the championship here. Delaney, every lap, is looking more and more like he's going to become our champion tonight.
I sit here and I wonder to myself, did Craig Johnson save enough to where he rolled the dice at Vegas and he possibly could walk away with the win? Because I'm looking at the gap between, no, it's dropped 2 seconds. There's not a snowball's chance in hell that's going to happen. Jonathan Delaney is catching Greg Johnson. I was hoping for Craig. It's a good guy, and I was hoping for a win for him tonight.
Well, the problem is not just the fuel, it's the tires right now that are really hurting Craig Johnson. He's hitting his consistent 32 or high 31 second laps. You go through and compare that then to what second place runner Jonathan Delaney is running. He's running low 30 flats. 22 laps remaining. Once again, this is the season finale for the first 2021 season of the iRacing Stock Car Association ButtKicker Cup Series with the Advanced Auto Parts 200. It's been a pretty interesting race so far. We've had a lot of passing for sure. Only one caution as a result of Kenny Powell turning himself across Jaded Prophet's nose off of turn 4 right around the halfway point. We've run green flag racing ever since. These guys have completed their last set of green flag stops for the end of this race. I want to point out as well, I just noticed Paul Olsen also has not come down to pit the last time by here, Al. He's still running down the track with 45 lap old tires.
Well, he's got absolutely nothing to lose. He's already a lap down. Why go 2 laps down? I mean, we've only got 7 cars currently on the lead lap. I mean, he's just trying to get as high up in there, and if he can finish the top 10 out of this 13th field here, that's pretty good, I guess.
Gap is down to 10 seconds down, 10.7 seconds now for Craig Johnson. At this point, I got to think that Craig Johnson's hoping the tire wear will have kicked in by now for Jonathan Delaney and Clayton Hoffman and maybe slowed them down a little bit. But at the moment, they are just still on a tear.
Yeah, he's got to hope that something happens in 20 laps. Now, if there's a caution comes out, Craig Johnson can look like a superhero because he's going to come in and he's going to get new tires, and unless everybody else comes in with him and gets new tires, he's going to be on, 15, 16, 17 lap fresher tires, and he can come through that field. But it has to happen in roughly about 4 laps, because in about 4 laps, he's going to meet the front end of Jonathan Delaney.
Indeed he will. Craig Johnson continues to lead, but not by much. I believe gap is in that 6.5 seconds down. Delaney will now certainly have Craig Johnson in his sights. Well, looking again, not quite, but he's going to have him in his sights here very soon. Jonathan Delaney is also coming up on a bunch of other lap traffic. Those lap cars are Kenny Powell, Jaden Prophet, John Mullins, and Paul Olsen. Clayton Hoffman might be hoping that those lap cars will slow him down some.
Let's take a ride along. Let's go and ride along with Jonathan Delaney as he works his way through the field. And you can see he's got about 4 cars up there in front of him. And the only way this is going to benefit him, because I do believe the car furthest up is Craig Johnson. So if he can burn up his tires trying to get around these lap cars, if these lap cars give him a little hell, which they're not going to, it looks like Paul Olsen's going to stay high and let him get by, but he takes that low line. Yeah, Craig's going to pit this time by. 82 is going to pit, give the race lead to Jonathan Delaney. So that means it's up to Clayton Hoffman in the 92 machine to find a 1.5 seconds almost to get to the rear bumper of Jonathan Delaney if he has a chance to even take home a victory.
It won't matter. Jonathan Delaney will still win the championship unless Delaney wrecks out and finishes 7th.
Yeah, no one, these guys don't care about that championship. They just want to win in the season.
Nope, Craig Johnson, I guess he did not save enough as he comes down pit road and he's going to lose a ton of spots. Will almost certainly be dumped out of the top 10. Well, maybe not. He only had a 6-second pit stop, so that was a splash and dash.
Yeah, if he does the splash and gas, or the splash and dash, that'd be good for him. But he's still going to drop tremendously down. And he's going to be on, 60 lap tires.
.5 laps remaining. Your new race leader, Jonathan Delaney. Let's take a run through the run order one more time before we end this race off. Jonathan Delaney is in the race lead. 1.7 back is Clayton Hoffman. In a battle for third is Greg Wichinski and Wayne Grossi. Chris Johnson sits in fifth, with Webbs Dobbs in sixth. Randy Drumhiller sits seventh. Jeff Shutt in eighth. John Mullins ninth. Kenny Powell just went one lap down in 10th position. Also laps down are Prophet, Olsen, and Craig Johnson. Craig Johnson now at the very tail end of the field.
I'm watching, if you're still in the end car here, I'm watching Jonathan Delaney, and he is battling that car. So he has beat the pants off those tires in 20 laps. So all he needs to do really is run around this track roughly about 13 more times, and he gets a win, and hope that Clayton Hoffman's not been back there in the catbird seat just preserving his tires and starts reeling them in. He has plenty of time to push.
That's up behind as well, because the car that Kenny Powell is due battle with right now, well, it's the same car that he turned himself across his nose earlier in the race about 60 laps ago, Jaden Prophet. So this could get spicy here. Powell washes up a little bit. This is the battle for, I believe, 10th? Yes, 10th place on the track. Prophet's in 11th, trying to run down 10th place Kenny Powell. Powell was fending off against Prophet earlier in the race when he got spun across Prophet's nose because Prophet got the run around the outside. Powell tried to clear himself. Didn't work out too well.
Well, I think Prophet has kind of learned from his mistake there, knowing that Kenny pushes up. That was surely not an intentional thing, because none of these drivers want to be taken out of the race and take away a possibility of winning. So let's see if Jaden in the 65 machine is going to try to pass him high or low this time. I want to tell you he's probably going to go low.
Again, he has to get to him first. Catching is one thing. Passing is a very different monster.
Well, we're running down, knowing here we got 10 laps left. How about we take a quick break, and we'll run that commercial for the Draftking to give everybody one more opportunity to be able to write down some information on how they can join. So we're going to take some information and give it to you. It's the ISCA Draftkings. It's going to be a race that we're going to run this Saturday, and it is going to be at Talladega. It's a $10 entry fee, and you have a chance to win $100. So get in and watch for all the information here on how to join.
Looks like we got a battle for the fifth position at the moment here. Chris Johnson and Wes Dobbs are both started getting into their own little scrap. They're running all on their lonesome on the back straightaway right now. We're going into turn number 3. It's one of those battles again where, you know, it kind of develops throughout the course of the race. Johnson is really sliding around that front of the car, though, so he is experiencing some chronic understeer at the moment. Really fending off as Dobbs goes to the inside line, trying to pick up a top 5 here in the final race of the season.
Yeah, that was very wise of Chris Johnson to give it to him. Is he going to let him keep it? I don't think so. He's going to regroup, gather up his tires, and take another stab at Wes Dobbs.
Our furthest battle up in the field right now with under 10 laps to go. The only other battle is between Kenny Powell and Jaden Prophet, but that battle is only splitting up. Paul Olsen finally relented and came down last time by to put himself 2 laps down.
Yeah, this definitely took a turn here. Clayton Hoffman was leading these laps, and I think he probably led the most laps if we would look at it, really. But Jonathan Delaney has come up, and he's going to signify and secure, as it looks right now, if the race was to end, he will be, I believe, our series champion.
Has Jonathan Delaney ever won a championship here before in the ISCAL?
I'm going to say no.
Wouldn't this be special then for him? He's just got to hang on for 5 more laps and he'll have it done.
Yeah, I think he's looking right at that, and he's got to do that. 5 more laps is pretty easy when he's just running around there 2.8 seconds in front of Clayton Hoffman in second. The worst thing Jonathan Delaney could see right now is that flag that's colored yellow.
Yeah, that's the one flag that Delaney does not want to see right now. It wouldn't be the weirdest thing that's ever happened, though. Remember at Kansas last season, we thought we were going to be taking that white flag, and we ended up getting the caution mere feet away from the last lap. So it's still a possibility. Anything can happen at 5 laps.
Yeah, this is Vegas, where the odds are pretty weird. So let's see how this unfolds. We've only got 5 more laps left in this race. 5 more laps.
Mark it down to 4 here as we come off turn number 4 and take the 4 to go now. Here are the Advanced Auto Parts 200. Jonathan Delaney had the points lead of the season. He was looking really good. He's got 2 wins of the season so far. He's trying to make it a 3rd win of the season as well as a championship here today.
Yeah, his fellow Flying Arrows ought to be very proud of this. He's done a great job this season. I think we missed him in a couple races. He took some provisionals and still was able to, thanks to the graces of Boyd Hogan, choosing to run Road to Pro and relinquishing his securely obvious championship win over to Jonathan Delaney.
Yeah, all Hogan had to do was really start this race, then he would have been fine because it was 21 points back to Jonathan Delaney.
Yeah, well, the Road to Pro is a race where, you know, this is bragging rights. ISDA is bragging rights. Road to Pro gives those drivers, if they do well enough, and it gives them an opportunity to be in the Coke Series for an opportunity to win 6 figures of real cold hard cash. So if I was a choosing man here and I thought to myself, do I want to just run something for bragging rights, or do I want to run something that's going to put something in my bank account? I think I'm going to choose something that's going to put money in my bank account here. So I cannot blame, Boyd Hogan and some of the other drivers for doing that, and I wish him the best of luck in that series.
Jonathan Delaney off at 3 and 4 for the final time. He's going to win the season finale, and he's also going to become a season champion. The RC Stock Car Association, Jonathan Delaney, your new champion for the first time, and also a 3-time winner in the ISCA. Well deserved for the number 13.
Good job. Let's run down that field. Obviously, we know Jonathan Delaney won this race tonight. He comes in first. Second place is Clayton Hoffman in the 92. Third is Greg Wichinski. Fourth is Wayne Grossi. Fifth is Wes Dobbs. Sixth is Chris Johnson. Seventh is Randy Drumhiller. Eighth, Jeff Strutt. Ninth, John Mullins. Running up the top 10 will be Kenny Powell. And coming in 11th is Jaden Profit. 12th, Craig Johnson. And rounding out the last of this 13-car field will be Paul Olson in the 43 machine. Let's watch the burnouts here for our new series champion, Jonathan Delaney, in that 13 machine.
And while we watch those burnouts, we're going to take a quick step away, and we'll be right back with the post-race show in just a few moments.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at TheButtKicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
And welcome back to the conclusion of the Las Vegas as a season finale of the ISCA ButtKicker Association. And we'll give a quick shout out to thanks to ButtKicker. That is a great organization that sponsors our league, and it's a great product as well. If you do not have a ButtKicker, go to ButtKicker.com and check that out. If you have a home entertainment system, that is the thing to have. If you have a sim, that is the thing to have. It puts reality underneath you, so you get the full feel. In the meantime, while you're checking that out, let's go ahead and see if we can get a hold of our third place finisher tonight, and that would be the number 2 car of Greg Wichinski. Greg Wichinski, Al Kozlowski, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Al.
Greg, welcome to ISCA broadcast booth. How we doing, buddy?
Doing good. You guys do a great job.
Was that a pretty fun race for you there? You come in third place.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I really couldn't keep up with Jonathan and Clayton. Congratulations to those guys. They're really fast.
Well, it was a strategy there. We were kind of wondering, was anybody going to try to take this to the end after that last pit stop? And then as I started to think about it, I thought there's no way anybody could do it. Did you have a thought in your mind where you thought, let me try to take it to the end?
Yeah, maybe for a split second, but no, there's no way we could make it.
Well, that's a great third place finish for you, Greg. Do you have any sponsors you want to thank real quick? Any teammates, anything like that?
Yeah, of course, G&G Racing, everybody there. Kenny and Clayton, he does a great job. Matt, Chris, Eric, all those guys. Paul.
Well, that's a great finish tonight, Greg, and welcome to the booth. Congratulations on your third place finish.
Thanks, guys.
And we're going to shout out and see if we can get a hold of the 92 machine, the driver, Mr. Clayton Hoffman. Clayton Hoffman, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Clayton, you had led probably the most laps tonight, and we kind of thought you were going to be a dominating machine, but something happened at that last pit stop.
I didn't have the best pit entry, and when I just took too much time stopping at my pit stall, and Jonathan got a better exit. I spun my tires way too much, and he's able to edge me out there getting off the pit road, so he's able to take the lead, and I can never get in front of him and get the clean air again. And I've been struggling with my setup this week as far as long run race pace. I was about 1/10 and a half off of where I needed to be, and I got really close, but I did not have enough time to test my setup in traffic, and I expected to be tighter, and I was actually looser in traffic, so that kind of threw me off, and I just was not able to make it up.
Was clean air a big factor here tonight? I know last week the dirty air was kind of a monster. Was it the same effect this week?
Yeah, with this, like I said, with the setup that I ran this week, it really affected me. Even before the current one I ran for the race last week, somehow I was able to not really have it affect me much at all. But this week, it hurt me a lot.
Well, this week we have a first-time event. We have 2 drivers from G&G in the booth with us tonight. We have one of your partners there, Greg Wichinski, who finished third, and you came in second. You want to give some shout-outs to some sponsors, some thanks to anybody real quick?
Just shout out to my teammates, G&G. We like to test setups and race around and try to have some fun when we're doing it. And, they're a great group of guys to compete with and to mess around and play with setups with. I think that's pretty much it for me as far as who I got to thank.
You don't have anybody that's watching tonight kind of rooting for you?
I might have some coworkers watching me. They've been kind of interested when I have mentioned my races at work, so they might be watching. So shout out to Scott, Jared, and Cole if you guys are watching.
Well, I'm not going to expect you to thank me. I was right here just basically rooting you on every lap you made, buddy. Great run tonight, and congratulations on that second place.
Thank you.
Let's see if we can get a hold of not only our race winner, but I do believe when all the numbers are tallied up, he's going to be our season champion. Jonathan Delaney, do you have a copy?
Yes, I do. I got it, yes.
Jonathan. It almost, and not to take anything away from the rest of the drivers that graciously showed up, all 13 of them tonight, but it looked like this was a 2-car race tonight.
Yeah, Clayton was really fast. At the start of the race, he got the clean air right off the back after like 5 laps. So I knew dirty air was really bad here. Not as bad as I don't think last week. Last week was really bad, but Clayton, I knew for me to get the clean air, I would have had to pull off pretty insane pitch strategy to get in the clean air, because before we pitted he was 2 seconds ahead of me. So and then the lap I wanted to pit, he came down to pit. So he still had the clean air. So and the caution came out. And I have to say I probably had a perfect pit entry, pit exit. I barely edged out Clayton off pit road. And then after that, I was able to keep the clean air. I was pushing it really hard to, make sure I kept the clean air and keep Clayton in the dirty air. And then Clayton for green flag pit stops. He pitted a lap before me, and I probably had a perfect pit stop to barely edge him out coming off pit road. So, but it was a fun race. I had a bunch of fun, racing Clayton there for those couple laps. And it probably, if that would have went green, Clayton probably would have won it, because he would have been in the clean air. So, but other than that, I had lots of fun.
Yeah, but the relative humidity in this race tonight was at 37%. So that probably had a huge problem here. Now, you had looked like your car was had an ill handling probably before the first pit stop. Did you have too much tape on it or something? Or
No, I kind of burned off the right rear a bit. Just mainly, off at 2. I was really loose. And like Clayton said, how his car got loose, I was the exact same way. Clean air, I was actually tight. And then, in the dirty air, my car was really loose. So, and another factor, probably is fuel. I short fueled that last caution there to, or that last green flag pit stop, to try to keep the rear end from, not sliding out around. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations. And like I said, not only did you win the race tonight, but I think you might have secured yourself and taken away the ISCA ButtKicker Association Championship tonight, too, as well.
Yeah, let's hope. I think I was 20 or so points behind Boyd going into this race. So,
Boyd, all Boyd had to do was show up, and Boyd didn't show up. So I think you might have got it. Don't count your winnings and don't look at your bank account yet, because I can't guarantee you, but I do believe from my calculations, you are the ISCA ButtKicker Association champion for this season.
If that's true, thank you, guys.
Congratulations, buddy. How about some shout outs to some sponsors, some teammates, maybe mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, anybody watching?
Mom and dad, shout out to them. Shout out to everyone at Flying Arrows for helping with the set this week. It was fast. I know Clayton was going to be hard to beat this week, so shout out to him. I had a blast racing him. Thank you guys for broadcasting it. Kenny for putting on the league. And yeah, that's all I got.
Well, again, congratulations, and I'm glad you mentioned Kenny Powell, because I want to drag Kenny Powell up here, that driver of that 24 machine. He has had a pretty rough season this season, and I really am trying my best to try to think of a race that he hasn't wrecked out in. So let's talk to Kenny Powell in that 24 machine. Kenny Powell, you got a copy?
I'm here.
Kenny Powell, I kind of thought this was the race. There's 13 cars out there. The odds of you wrecking out was extremely slim. And then you and Jaden Profit met by accident. Walk us through that.
Yeah, it's been a rough season. Definitely, this was a race I was looking forward to. Definitely had my eyes on getting on the podium tonight. I don't know. First stretch was okay. I didn't have the greatest pit stop, which put me back a position or two. and got me fighting with guys I guess I didn't want to be back there with. And I knew at the time Jaden was he was probably faster than I was at the very moment. But I said earlier in the week, I raced like Ryan Newman at this track. It's the dirty air is so important that I wasn't just going to give it up. And he got right to my outside right at the key moment or wrong moment, and got together. It was very unfortunate because I still could have turned that race around, and I still think I could have gotten the top 3.
Well, Kenny, we can't say thank you enough because, indeed, for those that don't know, Kenny Powell is the one that puts us on week after week after week and week after week after week. He gives us an opportunity to be able to have cautions. So, Kenny Powell, congratulations on, where did you finish, 9th, 10th, something like that?
Somewhere around 10th.
Well, I'm going to let you, the mic is going to be yours for about 1 minute because we have a special event coming up this Saturday, and I'd like you to tell us a little bit more about that event.
All right, thanks, Al. Yeah, the ISCA, we're over a year old now. We've done the Cup Series. We expanded to the Super Cup Series, which is the full-length NASCAR schedule plus a couple extra races in there, with the iRacing schedule. But we've branched out to a third event that we're going to start doing, and that's going to be a monthly event. It's going to be a cash prize race, $10 entry. And it's going to be run once a month at the plate races at Talladega and Daytona. And we're going to hold the first race this Saturday. Qualifying's at 9 o'clock. Heat race is going to be 9:15, and the main event at 9:30. We're going to do 94 laps at Talladega, and going to give out cash prizes to the top 5.
Now, rumor has it that somebody could put $10 in a till and take out $100 for a win. Is that accurate?
That's correct. As long as we get the entries in the participants of 28 or more, which I do expect at this moment. The winner will get 100. Second place will get 50. 25 to third, 15 to fourth, and you get your entry back, and you're in the 5th place there.
I got you. And what class on iRacing can you join? Can you join with a B class license? What's our license? We got our qualifications here.
Yeah, for our Cup Series races, I've always stipulated a Class A license at 2,000 iRating, but since this is a cash event, it's going to be open to more people. We're going to do Class C license and above.
Well, I know this is our season finale, and I'd like to see some names in here that I cannot pronounce again next season. So let's try to give a shout-out and see if we can gain some new drivers for next year. They've been watching this all season long. They kind of know the quality of the drivers we have. Let's see if we can get some people that want to maybe come in and join. Tell us some qualifications they need to be able to join into this series next season.
Yeah, as I just mentioned a little bit, the Cup Series races that we race, obviously, we just finished the Season 1 Cup Series tonight. We're going to take say this cautioningly, we're going to take a 1-week break for the Cup Series. So the Cup Series, Cup Season 2 will start not next week, but the week after that. But as I say that just means that no points are going to count next week for the Cup Series race. But we do have the Super Cup Series that we run also, like I said, which is the full-length schedule. So we definitely will have a race next Thursday. It will be at Phoenix, and that'll be a points race for the Super Cup Series. And then, as I said, the following week, I believe we're going to be at Atlanta to open the season up for the Cup Season 2. And as far as qualifications, need to have your A license, need to be 2,000 iRating or above, and be able to prove that you're a good, clean driver. And if you meet those qualifications, I'd love to have you, because I know we're going to lose. We've lost a couple, or going to lose a couple to Road to Pro since iRacing changed their schedule a little bit on us. We're going to possibly lose some of our top drivers. So we have some room for some new people. So come on and hit me up. You can go to iRacing.carassociation.com and get all the details if I left anything out.
And what we know, I know we have a Twitch and a YouTube and a Facebook page and everything. I know that one of those has a very bunch of crazy letters in it, but just how do they find us in order to watch, and maybe how do they find us to? I know you just said the iRacing Stock Car Association website, but how can our folks that want to watch it on a different channel, how can they find that?
Yeah, so definitely have couple of different avenues to watch us. The easiest way really is to go to iRacingStockCarAssociation.com. On the website, there's a media section, and that has all of our outlets there. The YouTube one is so long I can't say what it is. Actually, I can. It's iRacingStockCarAssociation.com/YouTube. We have a Twitch account, which is twitch.tv/ISCA_racing. That'll get you to our Twitch channel. And we also are on Facebook, and our Facebook ID is ISCA_racing there too, I believe. If you search that, you'll find it.
Yeah, there's a handy little search bar on Facebook. You can find almost anything. You find the ex-wife, or you can find anything on Facebook. Well, Kenny Powell, I have to thank you once again for putting together entertainment for us with a whole bunch of very highly qualified drivers and some very clean racing. It was very competitive, and I enjoyed this season and can't wait for season 2. And once again, I'll just give a shout out to our race winner and I believe, Kenny, correct me if I'm incorrect, Jonathan Delaney will be our series champion this year.
I tell you, it is very tight, and I don't want to speak officially, but unofficially, Boyd may still have pulled it out. Possibly with provisional points. So we'll see what happens when I do the official tally.
Well, you let us know, and congratulations once again to Clayton Hoffman and Greg Wichinski from G&G. My name is Al Kozlowski, and I'm going to leave Las Vegas a loser. Have a good night. Till next week.